Hello and welcome, beautiful souls, to my channel, Light of Shaya. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to those of you who are new. I hope you enjoyed this content, and welcome back to those of you who are returning. I simply want to say thank you so much for all of your support. I appreciate every single one of you. So today we're doing a message from Spirit. I'm going to be using three different tarot decks. I'm going to be using the Good Tarot, the Light Seers Tarot, and the Muse Tarot, because that's kind of what I was guided towards doing. So let's go ahead and see what this message from Spirit is. I hope you're all having a lovely day so far. I apologize for not being here as frequently. I've been doing a lot of soul-searching healing work on myself, and honestly I needed a pretty substantial break from my channel in order to just get through it all. The healing journey is something that never really truly ends, and every time I think I'm done, it feels like there's a little bit more to take care of. Anyway, so let's go ahead and see here what the message from the Good Tarot is. We have the Three of Water, Three of Cups. There's something tantalizing about this energy, very hypnotic. I'm not used to seeing this Three of Water in this particular deck now that I think about it. I'm not sure if I've ever had it before. So we have the Messenger of Water and the Call. So we have the Three of Water, as I was saying. There's something really balanced about this one. She's like poised, you know, carrying all the things. It's almost, I'm getting a sense of sensuality here. I mean, you could see, I hope you guys can see that, but the expression of on her face there is sensual. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the lighting here. Okay, I think that's better. You could probably see her expression there is almost that of like sensuality, right? It's like indulgence. It's like, I'm feeling myself. It's very feminine energy. It's a very feminine, beautiful, like sensual experience. It's like very deep feeling. And then we have this Messenger of Water, which is the Knight of Cups, right? This usually speaks of, you know, romance. But this particular deck doesn't often give me that feeling, right? Of course, traditionally speaking, the Knight of Cups is someone very charming, you know, somebody who follows their heart, somebody who wears their heart on their sleeve and always does things with love, doing actions with love, right? But what's really interesting is that this Messenger of Water is looking at this offer. I'm seeing this as an offer. It's really interesting, the similarities between these two, right? Note the mermaid-like figure and the seahorse. There's something about their positions being very similar. I'm not sure if you guys can see that similarity there, but the seahorse appears to be as this Three of Water, right? It's just, that's kind of what I want to do. What's really interesting is that the Three of Water is behind it. It's almost, the sense that I'm getting here from this Three of Water, what's really interesting is that it's the seahorse. I don't know why I'm picking up on this. It's really interesting. It's like it's the seahorse, but the person, okay, it's big. Whatever this is big. But because this person has their back turned to it, it's not being seen that way. The seahorse is being looked at as small. Like, it's like whatever is being offered is too small, is almost what I'm picking up on. But beneath the surface, because it's not being looked at directly, it's actually this very big, very sensual, celebratory energy. And then we have, of course, the Call. Judgment call, right? It's like the angels have sounded the trumpets, and there's like a realization, an epiphany at hand about likely a past situation for some of you, because right, the judgment call does speak of, or the judgment card does speak of like past events. It could speak of past life karma. It could speak of a revival of a situation, right? Judgment is revival. It's often, you know, the card of like the rapture, right? The revival afterwards, the resurrection. So there's something being resurrected here is kind of what I'm picking up on. But it's coming in very cloudy. It's almost like a clear perception of one person is kind of what I'm sensing here, because there's clouds everywhere, but the focal point is this person. You see what I'm saying? I'm not sure if you're picking up exactly on it's like the way I'm seeing it. And what's really interesting is behind it is a door. It's like somebody has walked through the door and it's being clearly seen that this person is, so there's something about this one, the way they walk maybe. There's something very, again, there's that sensual kind of feminine energy I'm picking up on this. Right? Very similar to the Three of Water, except on the opposite end. Note the similarities here. One is in the water suit and one is, oh, it's almost kind of picking up like angelic. There's something angelic about this one. It's very sensual and feeling, but there's also something very attuned with the divine here, right? Bottom of the deck, we do have the High Priestess here. The High Priestess is intuitive, deep knowing. And what's fascinating is we have the Five of Earth here, which is lack, right? Note how this person is clasping their chest, and this person is stuck growing into the vegetation here. So, okay, like, how does this all wrap in together? For some of you, this could very well be a love reading, because we do have the Magician at the bottom of the deck, of course, with the Knight of Cups. The Magician and the High Priestess are a couple. They are two inexperienced persons in love who may at times find marriage to be far too restrictive, right? They're not experienced enough to be in a formal marriage for whatever reason. Maybe they're too early on in the journey, or maybe they just don't know each other very well. They're just plain inexperienced. They're not used to having high levels of commitment or something like that, right? It's very fascinating because the High Priestess is perceiving this Five of Earth. There's a perception here of like the lack or the sadness. And what's really interesting is this Magician is an illusion, right? The High Priestess is very illusory too. There's something like illusory about these two. It's like maybe there's some sort of illusion at play. And what's fascinating to me is the Magician is followed by the Four of Water, which often does speak of missed opportunities. But in this particular deck, it's an extension of an offer, is the way I'm reading it, right? She's holding out this pearl and giving it to somebody, right? And the High Priestess is maybe that's not good enough or something like that. Maybe the High Priestess is feeling, this offer seems too small for me. And remember how I was saying too small? What's fascinating is we have the Queen of Water here, which is very, very deep love, somebody very intuitive. And what's really fascinating is that the Three of Earth is like looking out into the vast vistas, and I get the sense almost like it's a head scratcher. It's almost what I'm picking up on. It's like, I don't get it. What? I'm not understanding this. I don't really get it, is what I'm saying. It's very interesting. Okay, so that's it for the Good Tarot. Let's go ahead and get into the cards here. I'm being guided to start with the Light Seer Tarot. Okay, that's a very interesting message. I missed working with these cards. They feel so good in my hands. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what the message is here. Okay, so 3 from the Light Seer Tarot. Look at that. We have the Devil and the Ten of Swords. Whew. That is pretty heavy, if I do say so myself. Look at that, High Priestess. Okay, bottom of the deck we have the Moon. Remember how I was saying illusion? There's the illusion. There's some sort of illusion at play here. Maybe with the King of Wands, the Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Look at that. There's that Two of Cups, Knight of Cups, and the Truth, the Justice card. And what's really fascinating is this is followed by the Queen of Pentacles, right? But what's fascinating, look at that. There's a Judgment. Okay, guys, this is big. What's really fascinating to me is below this, we have the King of Earth. Right? King of Earth, Queen of Pentacles. And interestingly enough, there's that King of Fire again. Very fascinating. There's some sort, okay, there is an illusion at play. And that's kind of why I'm sensing this. Somebody has their back turned to what this actually is. It seems too small, but there's a judgment call on the way. And once this person, I'm getting the sense of like walks through the door or something like that, it's clearly seen. It's like the illusion has been lifted. Remember how the illusion is around? Remember how I was saying that? There's like a fog. There's like a fog, a mistiness to this. And something is unclear. So there's an illusion at play. Whatever the situation is, there's an illusion at play. Now we have the High Priestess, very, very deeply attuned to her deep intuition. Remember earlier how I picked her up. This is a very powerful energy. Somebody's intuition is spot on about whatever this energy likely is. The Ten of Swords and the Devil. Now, what's really interesting is that the High Priestess, when combined with the Devil, typically does speak of somebody who's cold and addicted to something, right? This could be an idea. This could be a sexual desire, of course. This could be somebody who's cold and addicted to something. Now, this addiction could, of course, addictions are they range. But what's really interesting is the High Priestess didn't come out before the devil, right? High priestess devil would indicate that. But what's really interesting is I feel like what I'm picking up on, interestingly enough, is that could have been a possibility, but it turned out not to be. Whatever that means. And it's being perceived intuitively. The Ten of Swords here is an ending of some sort. Maybe to this devil energy? We'll see. So let's get into the Muse Tarot here. There's the Knight of Wands. Okay, the Eight of Emotions and the Knight of Emotions. Knight of Wands, Eight of Cups. Knight of Wands is flighty in nature. Remember how I said somebody who could have been cold and addicted to something? So the Knight of Wands is sexual in nature. Somebody who's addicted to maybe sex or one-night stands, right? Maybe being a player or cheating, right? But what's really fascinating is now we have the Eight of Emotions walking towards the Nine of Emotions. It's a progression. It's like a realization of some sort. The Knight of Wands is being perceived by the High Priestess. Know how she sits behind or between the devil and the Knight of Wands. It's like, I know about this. There's a deep intuitive knowing about whatever this energy is. But what's fascinating is that the Knight of Wands is moving directly towards the Eight of Wands, or excuse me, the Eight of Emotions, and the Nine of Emotions, which is walking away from this energy and moving towards a wish fulfillment. All right, so let's keep on with this message, starting here with the lights here. So somebody's is leaving something behind here with the Eight of Emotions, and with the Nine of Emotions, I wanted to say love, maybe only because of the Lover's energy at the bottom of the deck. Got the Six of Cups here. Something about the past. There's a wish fulfillment dealing with the past, right? It's like a nostalgia of a time when a wish had been fulfilled of some sort. It's like reveling in the emotions of the past or something like that is what I'm picking up on, fascinatingly enough. Being drawn to pull from the lights here. Okay. So now we have the Three of Wands and the Queen of Wands. This is there's that King of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Something about being swept out the door towards the Queen of Wands, right? Remember how I said walking through the door? That's exactly kind of what I was picturing. It's like a clear perception of this one. It's a very clear perception of whatever or whoever this Queen of Wands is. Now, I always get drawn to 1221 in the dominoes. For those of you who haven't been keeping up with my readings or are new here, we have 1, 2, 2, 1 in the dominoes. I'm not sure if you could see that. They're a mirror image. So there could be something about 12:21 a.m., 12:21 p.m., or you could be simply seeing that number quite a bit recently. Interestingly enough, I've been noticing it quite a bit in my personal life. What's really fascinating is we have this in the past. It was like when this person walked through the door. When this person walked through the door or something like that. And what's really fascinating is I'm just now noticing that beneath each other is the Devil and the Queen of Wands. And what's fascinating to me is note how there are strings attached to the Queen of Wands, right? Her third eye is open and perceptive. There's something here about deep intuition, but the Queen of Wands there's something about being played with. Note the strings holding this person captive. It's like the soul of the person. It's almost like I want to do this, right? It's like the devil is controlling the Queen of Wands, or somebody is trying to control this Queen of Wands. There's something here about control is kind of what I'm picking up on. Even mistreatment, interestingly enough, potentially. Because sometimes the magician, it's really interesting I'm picking up on this, the magician and the devil combined could be, it's indicative of watching out for control or maltreatment of intensity. Very interesting. Okay, so let's continue here. Four of Wands, a celebration, a union of some sort. Emperor, wow, look at that. Celebration, Emperor. And note how the Emperor has his back turned to the celebration. It's like somebody turned their back on whatever that was through logic, right? You can see the puzzle piece here. It's like a game is almost what I'm picking up on. Interestingly enough, the Emperor is below the Knight of Wands, which is something about a game. It's kind of what I'm picking up on here. Very fascinating. Okay. All right, let's continue with this. Ten of Inspiration. Wow. Something about burdens. The Emperor is looking at the burdens. Whoa. So the Emperor here is looking at this. I'll go ahead and flip the camera angle for you guys in just a moment. But this is what this Emperor is looking at. It's like, it's too hard, it's too difficult to create this idea. It's like, things are barren. Things are barren. Note how the Ten of Inspiration is trudging along, right? Trudging along towards the Ten of Emotions. And I can't help but notice the difference here. We have like oxes here, but then there's people here. One person in particular is the one leading the pack, is kind of what I'm picking up on. And what's really fascinating to me is that the Ten of Inspiration is above the Eight of Emotions, which is something here regarding like barren landscapes. Something about barren landscapes here. Maybe something appears to be barren, is like desertous or like devoid of something, and then the Ten of Emotions comes in, which is like a healing. It's almost like I'm picking up like the waters of life, right? Somebody has been carrying the waters of life and the burdens inside of these flasks, or excuse me, I don't know if those are like vases, however you pronounce it. And the Ten of Emotion, it's like, it's there. It's like they had been, whatever this is, was carrying the water that was required, and now the water has been divulged to people, right? Now this is, I'm picking up, this is metaphorical in nature, of course. There's something here in regards to like an idea or a very clear perception of the thing that was, which was keeping things dried up, is what I'm picking up on. And that is also metaphorical. It's like there is some sort of knowledge or some sort of idea. There's something here about something being barren, and the answer had been carried along by one. I'm getting this Emperor. That answer had been carried by one, and they were burdened by it somehow because they knew it was the water of life. It was like, they knew that this was the information that was required in order to restore water, in order to restore the refreshment. It's like a refreshment is what I'm picking up on here, right? The call, like a reawakening. Interesting how I said reawakening. It's not just an awakening, but a reawakening. Fascinating. And there's the star. Aquarian energy. It's a wish fulfillment, right? That's the water that I'm talking about, right? The Aquarius is the bearer of the waters of knowledge, right? They're super focused on other people. They're super focused on humanitarian efforts. It's all about the planet, about people, everybody, right? And more so less about just individuals. And a lot of people don't understand that because they, you know, and I'm guilty of this, actually being an Aquarius Sun and an Aquarius Venus. It's like I have a hard time sometimes connecting with individuals on a personal level because I don't just see the individual, I see them as a part of the collective, if that makes sense. And so I'm picking up on this. There's something here about the divulging the waters of knowledge, right? Divulging some sort of healing information that brings about the Ten of Cups. And note how, in this case, the Nine of Cups is above the Ten of Emotions. As I said, I'm gonna flip the camera right now because there's too much about the congruence in the cards that I can't deny in this case, so I will be flipping the camera angle. Remember how I was saying the refreshment, this person is completely submerged in water. It completely submerged in emotion and feeling and refreshment. There's like a refreshment here. It's like, you know, it's kind of like when you take that first big gulp of water in the morning after having been dehydrated. It's like that refreshment that you feel. It's like, oh, I was parched. I was dehydrated, and now that water is here, and it's so beautiful and vivacious. It fills me up with so much refreshment, right? That's kind of what I'm picking up on. That's the energy that I'm picking up on. It's like a parched throat. Once the water has been gifted to the person, it's refreshing, and it's like I can breathe again, or oh, I can go about my life now, or I can go about something. I can go about living my life, or I can go about not having to feel heavy anymore, not having to feel dehydrated. And of course, the star card is healing and wish fulfillment. Okay, and it's really interesting because I'm also seeing the correlation between the Ten of Emotions and the star card here. Very beautiful energy. Note the star and the lotus here. Very similar to me. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera angle so you guys can see the board, and I'll be back in just a second. Alrighty, I'm back. So I did my best to try and get this all on camera, but I have a very small table, and it's a bit difficult to set up the camera angle at times, but this is what I'm talking about, right? Note the strings here from the Devil to the Queen of Wands. And what's really interesting is that earlier I was interpreting this as carrying out here, but now it's like the detachment has occurred, is what I'm picking up on. The detachment from whatever this is has occurred because these strings are no longer leading up here the way I interpreted them previously. Now the Ten of Swords is like the Ten of Swords obviously is a complete and total ending. It's something came in suddenly and completely destroyed whatever it was that you were dealing with in the past, for those of you this reading is resonating with. And now the Devil energy is being faced from a new light, interestingly enough. And it's being picked up by this High Priestess energy, which could very well be you, right? So the High Priestess is like looking at this Knight of Wands energy, right? She's perceiving both the Devil and the Knight of Wands being kind of, in a sense, pushed in between both of these energies. And it's like she's trying to there's a divine channel here. It's like trying to figure out what is correct, what is the right way to approach this, what is the right thing. It's almost like I'm being drawn. Note the darkness here and the light here in this particular card. It's like the light and the dark. Note the darkness swaying from the Devil into the High Priestess. But now the light is coming down. It's like, remember that illusion again? Illusion. Note how this like veil of like foggy white, whatever the heck that is here. There's something here about a massive illusion that I'm picking up on, but the High Priestess knows about it, is what I'm picking up on. The High Priestess, obviously being very intuitive, knows that something is amiss, right? Now we have the Knight of Wands and the Eight of Wands, or Emotions. I keep on wanting to say this is the Eight of Wands. I don't know why. That's the second time that's happened. So maybe there's something here about electronic communication through electronic means, travel, or something fast moving, right? It could even be sexual excitement. But the Eight of Emotions walks away from the Knight of Inspiration, right? And there's a sense of being completely immersed in absolute satiety here. It's a wish fulfillment. It's a wish having been granted. This is giving me a very genie-like energy, right? But it's like, now there's a reminiscing of the past. Very interesting. This wish fulfillment deals with something that was in the past. And it's interesting that I said genie here, because it's like a dream come true, right? This card is a wish fulfillment. And note there is a magical lamp here that has released this genie with all of these beautiful gems, crystals. And it's a complete submergence into emotion. I mean, this person is completely submerged in emotion, right? Because the water represents emotion. Now, with the Six of Cups here, this is that nostalgia. It's like, I'm getting the sense of almost like growing old together or something like that, because I can't help but notice this older gentleman is looking at the past of when he was a kid and when he had a puppy, right? There's a very sweet nostalgic energy coming through here. And this somehow is wrapping up to this, whatever this energy over here is, the Three of Wands. It's like rushing out the door, or like when somebody walked into the room or something like that. Because this, remember how I was saying there's a doorway? It's like when somebody walked through the room, there was this celebration. Queen of Wands, Four of Wands, there's a celebration here of some sort. Somebody who walked through the door. For the Emperor, it isn't looking at it though, which is really fascinating. It's like, note, there's that illusion again. Remember how I was saying there's that white, whatever the heck it is? It's coming through here. And note how it's also being pulled from the Knight of Inspiration into this energy. That's so fascinating because it's almost like a story playing out about this energy doing this. It's like whisked through whatever is going on here. This could very well be, there's that whisking again. There's something almost like hypnotic about the waves or the way something moves, right? It's almost like I'm picking up this fire, whatever this fire is, that is igniting this Knight of Inspiration is like being dragged into here. And note how this energy is so the dark energy has been purified through source, and now it's somehow looping around back this way. And note these people have that same etheric flow, right? There's like a party or something like that, a union or a celebration where this energy is being expressed. It's like, I can't help but notice that like wavy feeling. There's something about waviness here. And the Emperor perceives it, interestingly enough. It's like it's being perceived, it's all around him, right? He can feel it almost like touching his skin, right? The contact point here. But he's looking at this 10 of Inspiration instead. It's like a burden of some sort. It's like, I know that I'm carrying this burden, or I know that I'm carrying whatever this is, and it's the answer, or something like that. It's like the answer to my dreams or hopes or fears, interestingly enough. And I can divulge this information to restore balance, or to restore something. It's like a restoration, right? The call, it's like a restoration, a revival of something. And then we have the star, Aquarian energy. So we have Capricorn, Pisces, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries coming through strongly, and Aquarius on the board here. It's really interesting because whatever this is a wish fulfillment. It's a wish fulfillment of the utmost, right? With the Nine of Emotions, right? It's after a very difficult experience. The star comes after the Tower. Interestingly enough, the Tower isn't here. It's not present, right? The devil is, but the Tower is not. So maybe there was because the Tower can often represent, right, a destruction of ideas, a sudden experience that is almost like cataclysmic for one on an individual level. It's like a complete destruction of an idea, of a belief system, of a way of being. And you're dealt with the aftermath. You have to deal with the aftermath. Not only did it happen suddenly, it also leaves you having to pick up the pieces around you, whatever that may be. Once again, it could be internal or external, right? That's very interesting that it's like I'm trying to pick up on whatever this is. This is definitely very spiritual in nature. And there's a lot of like, I think the reason this message is coming out almost convoluted is because there is an illusion at play, as I said earlier, right? There's that Ace of Emotions. Look at, there's that sensuality again. Note how sensual this Ace of Emotions is. There's that Knight of Emotions. And the Four of Emotions. Wow. So look at that. There's a sensuality, as I was saying. It's an offer. It's love, right? It's an opportunity in love, a wish fulfillment, right? The love. But look at how sensual this is. There's a great deal of sensuality here. And note how the Knight of Emotions is turned towards this sensuality. It's like an observance. Remember this messenger of water? Remember how I was saying there's something here about an offer. An offer, but seemingly small, but behind the scenes, which isn't being perceived directly because the person isn't looking at it that way, is massive, but it's being perceived as this small seahorse. Right? There's that Knight of Emotions again. Looking at the offer. The offer seems extremely sensual in nature, interestingly enough, that I'm picking up on that. And then we're followed by the Four of Emotions, which is a rejection, a missed opportunity. It's a sadness. What's really interesting is that I always see this as my almost kiss card because it's two faces leaning in for a kiss, but they can't kiss because the glass or the vase, or whatever that is in the way, the cup. Very interesting. Remember how I said it's not big, it's not like big enough, like the offer isn't big enough, or at least it's not perceived that way. Maybe this is why this Four of Emotions is here. Because there's like a deep contemplation here. It's really interesting because it's almost like I'm picking up the Emperor, picking up on this. Oddly enough, is what I'm sensing. I'm not sure why I pick up on that, but there's a sense of like the Emperor sensing this or looking at it for whatever reason. Maybe that's what the burden is. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the Light Seer here. It's really interesting. At the bottom of the deck of the Light Seer Tarot, we have the Fool, the Two of Cups, and the Six of Wands, which is taking a chance on a connection and coming out victorious, right? There's a victory here. It's victory. What's really interesting is, well, at the bottom of the deck, these combination of cards have come out together too. The King of Swords and the Ace of Voices. It's like a truth was spoken. There's a truth here. There's a moment of clarity. The leap of faith is taken towards this connection. There's a victory here, right? A glow up, a celebration. It's like I came out on top. Like we did it. And with the Muse of, not emotions, but the Muse of Voices, the King of Swords, there's a moment of clarity here. Remember there was an illusion? Maybe this Ace of Voices is clearing that up. Maybe it's spoken to you in regards, it could be spoken to you by Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Aquarius coming through very strongly. And it's fascinating behind this is we have the Seven of Pentacles and the Justice card, another card of truth, followed by the Sun. It's like an investment, right? The Seven of Pentacles is somebody who invests, somebody who waits for their seeds to bear fruit, right? That's somebody who's very invested and you cannot check the plant or the vegetation that you've planted, right? To see if it's growing. If you do that, you'll destroy the root system or you'll damage the plant. So you have to wait, is what I'm sensing, right? And there's a Justice and Sun card here, which is truth. It's truth and happiness, right? It's absolute growth and truth and expansion. This is very interesting. I feel like maybe, I don't know, there's something weird going on here. It's like I can't even pick up on it. So let's continue with this message here. There's that Knight of Wands and Ten of Cups. Fascinating. Bottom of the deck, we do have the Hierophant and the Ace of Cups, followed by the Five of Pentacles. There's like a Hierophant is commitment, right? It's marriage, it's unification, it's ethics and morals from a more religious point of view, more orthodox in nature. Ace of Cups is an opportunity in love, but with the Five of Pentacles, there's like an abandonment. What's really interesting is this card is coming through as this like, the key is right there. The key, whatever the key has been, was always there. I mean, note how she's so in her feels that she's not looking up to say, oh, wait, there's a frickin' key here that I can use to open up the door to the other side. But the key never was discovered. And look at this. We have the Hermit card with the Ace of Swords. It's like somebody else or you. Okay, if you're dealing with a person, both of you are having a moment of absolute clarity, right? Now, this could be you, this could be the person you're dealing with, and I'm sensing if it's a person you're dealing with, it's both of you having this massive epiphany, maybe even at the same time, right? And the Hermit is like looking within to find themselves through a moment of deep exploration. Now, for some of you, you could be dealing with a Virgo, of course. With the Ace of Swords, it's a moment of absolute clarity. It's like after this has been experienced, whatever this energy is, right? Somebody who maybe wanted commitment in love, but felt they were abandoned, but the key had always been there. It's like, oh, I looked within and I figured it out. I see the moment of truth. I see the clarity now. I see what you're talking about. There's a moment of absolute clarity. Now what's interesting here is now we have the Knight of Wands and the Ten of Emotions. There's that Ten of Cups again. The Heaven on Earth card, the happy family. The Knight of Emotions is somebody impulsive and hasty, right? Not as quick as the Knight of Swords, but they are driven by their passions, right? Somebody who's feeling very passionate. And this comes after the Four of Emotions, interestingly enough. It's like after the rejection or after this missed opportunity, now the Knight of Wands has come out and they're moving towards happiness, right? And what's really fascinating that I'm picking up on right now is that somehow the happiness is tied in with the Four of Emotions. Somehow this rejection or missed opportunity is bleeding into this Ten of Cups. I'm not sure why that is or why I'm picking up on that, but for whatever reason, this Four of Emotions is a happy thing. And I feel like initially it's not experienced that way, or initially it wasn't experienced that way. But when looked at differently, this makes sense now. And the Knight of Wands, especially with these beautiful cards, could very well be a Knight of Wands in high vibration. Somebody who wants to go out and do things, right? Somebody who's very hasty, impulsive. Somebody who wants to have, you know, fun in the bedroom. Somebody who's very charismatic and joyous and charming. There's something very fiery about this one, right? Similar to the Queen of Wands. What's really interesting is that the King of Wands didn't make an appearance in the on the actual table. So there may be something here about that. Maybe somebody is still early on in the journey in regards to their passions, right? And learning how to control them, right? There's something here, right? Because the Knight of Wands is still a relatively young person, somebody who's maybe 20 to 35 years old. And they're still coming into their power because they haven't really figured out how to control their passions or how to do things in the moment or something like that. And that's essentially what I'm sensing here. Now the Ten of Cups can be experienced. Okay, let's get a little bit more on this, actually, before I jump to conclusions. We have the Four of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles. So there's something about healing here with the Four of Voices. There's a healing experience that comes about. Nine of Pentacles is somebody who's single, independent, right? Somebody who has all of the things that they want in their life. Interestingly enough, the Moon card wanted to come out just now. There's an illusion, okay? There's something about an illusion here. Two of Voices, okay. There's something about an indecision, a sense of indecision here. Maybe somebody wants to be rejected, is what I'm picking up on, interestingly enough. Now with the Four of Voices, this is healing. Nine of Pentacles, obviously somebody who's feeling themselves, as you can see here. Somebody who's feeling their stuff, somebody who's loving their stuff, right? With the Two of Voices, there's a sense of indecision. Now what's really interesting is, remember how I was saying this Three of Inspiration is walking out the door or walking through the door? Now we have this experience here. This person is walking towards the door as well. But with the Two of Voices, there's an indecision. There's like a sense of indecisiveness here. And what's really interesting about this card that I never noticed before is that she has sand all over her arm. It's like an irritation. It's like, you know, when you're trying to get off all the sand on your, off your skin because it annoys you. But what's really fascinating is, like, there's two different things irritating this person. One is the sand on their arm, and the other is the fact that they can't seem to break away from this pull, right? There's something here about being torn in two directions, but there's an irritation about it. Because you can't, it's like you can't get rid of it. I can't get rid of it, is kind of what I'm getting. It's like, it's like ingrained on my body. And this particular card, what's really fascinating to me is it has all these clouds. They're harder to see probably on camera, but there's like clouds here. It's like cloudy vision, clouded vision maybe. Maybe somebody is on the verge of tears, or... is there, and I mean, of course, she is blindfolded here. So maybe somebody's vision is obscured. What's interesting at the bottom of the deck is the King of Pentacles, the Muse of Materials in this case, with the Judgment and World card, which is a complete and total awakening. This combination of cards is somebody who's about to change completely, right? Somebody who's built from the ground up. There's that call again. Somebody who's built from the ground up. Maybe having learned about something, maybe learned something new. Very interesting, right? Because there's a moment of clarity for both people, whoever these people are. Or maybe some of you are having a sense of, what is it called? Maybe you have two individuals you're dealing with that come to a realization about you. There's a beautiful Empress. So this is Twin Flame again, of course. No freaking surprise, right? Okay. There's that King of Pentacles again. There's that, look at that. Okay, if you're dealing with the Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, they're coming to some sort of awakening process. Six of Wands, now they're in the spotlight. There's a happy realization here, a victory occurring. It's very interesting. So we have the Ten of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. This is it's very interesting, right? From the Nine of Pentacles to the Ten of Pentacles. The Empress has been seen. The perception of the Empress is quite clear and cut. And I mean, of course, we do have the Emperor here. This is another twin flame reading, you guys. I can't believe this. There's something about twin flame here. Wasn't expecting to do a twin flame reading, but here we go. Another twin flame reading. Emperor looking at the Empress, divine counterparts here, Ten of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. So there's the opportunity for family with the Empress, right? There's an opportunity with the family, for a family, and the Page of Pentacles can be an offer. It's like a new learning. It's something has been discovered. Page of Pentacles, for me, at times does come through as tarot as well. So somebody one of you may be dealing with a tarot reading or something like that. Like a tarot reading or something. This could also be an opportunity offered, right? The Page of Pentacles, maybe the Empress is making an offer to the Emperor, or maybe the Empress has learned something new about herself. Look at that. These two cards wanted to come out again. Somebody who's about to change completely. This is an utter and complete transformation. Utter complete transformation. So if some of you have been dealing, in fact, with some sort of like twin flame experience, soulmate, divine counterpart, there's something massive coming up for you too. Something absolutely massive that is going to level whatever it was that you two went through. Something like that. And I feel like this, whatever this opportunity is what's causing this scenario, this complete and total change. It's like a complete and total, like I cannot emphasize, when the World and the Awakening or Judgment card come out combined, this is a person who's about to change completely. This is a complete and total change, right? Think about it. Judgment, right? Here's that call, is a realization. It's a destruction of the old way of being, right? It's like taking the past lessons, assimilating, growing with them. It's ascending. It's a spiritual awakening. The World is a completion of a cycle. So it's like a complete renewal, right? A complete renewal of a person. And this card always gives me that sense of heart awakening, because you can see how she's clutching her heart space as in shock. You can see by the expression on her face, it's like a moment of shock. It's like somebody waking up to clear reality or something like that. Somebody waking up to clear reality. Wow. Okay, well that was a really interesting twin flame reading. If you guys felt this reading resonated, feel free to leave a comment down below. I always love hearing from you guys. And of course, if you did enjoy the content, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. That's greatly appreciated. And as always, I'm sending you so much love and so much light. Take care.